Hey everyone, Patrick here. I'm going to try a alternative to fixing or filling in a gap between a slide-in stove, which we've got behind me, and the island countertop, or the island. We had to replace our stove, and so the home insurance just gave us another downdraft. Many of you are thinking, why didn't you just upgrade to a gas or install a hood? I mean, all very valid questions, very valid arguments to be made. But if you've ever dealt with your homeowner's insurance, oftentimes, it's easier just to go ahead and take the direct replacement rather than going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth with getting reimbursed or finding one and submitting it and them approving it, so on and so forth. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about filling in this huge gap that runs around the entire length of the stove. As you can see, and like I said, it runs in the back. I went to a Home Depot, got some Weatherseal, some different types of Weatherseal. You can see this one here for home auto. This one is your door Weatherseal. And then I thought plastic would be good. But again, I was just trying to find some alternatives. That one's out of the question. That's a no-go. This so far looks to be a go. It's just a regular 9/16 wide by 5/16 thick. And you can see we got a pretty big gap. But if this works well, which it looks like it may, I will consider this a success, and I hope you do as well if you've got the same issues as we do with gap between your stove and the countertop. Anyway, you can see that I've somewhat dry fitted this Weatherseal around the stove to see. Now on this side it's not quite as thick, and I cannot move the stove any more to the right, or be because the countertop template there is hitting it. So we're going to have to trim some up. But length is plenty long. Thickness looks to be perfect around most of the stove. But we're going to go ahead and get started and see if it works. I'm just going to peel off what I need a little bit at a time. A little bit difficult because it's sticking, and I don't necessarily want it to stick just quite yet. I want to try to get the Weatherstrip to fall flush with the countertop, with just a little bit below it, so it's not raised too high. I think this Weatherseal is going to be a really good option because, and I didn't even think about it till just now, but it does have some degree of moisture barrier with it being a Weatherseal anyway. And so if you do get moisture when you're wiping down the countertop, or if there's boiling water that overflows, anybody that cooks knows how that all goes. But anyway, I didn't even think about that till just now. I'm somewhat pre-committing myself to this Weatherseal by pushing it in and setting it in. So it looks like this might be mine. Looks like I've already made my decision for me. Definitely a tedious process. You want to make sure that it's in good. Trying to gently push it in with the screwdriver so that it's, like I said, so it sits at or just below the countertop. The reason I want that is so that it's not too obvious of what we're trying to accomplish. But I need to be careful because I don't want to rip it or tear it. And I certainly don't want to poke any holes in it with the screwdriver, but it's not like it's easy to accomplish. poked a hole in it. I don't know if that's going to ruin the integrity. Seems to be okay. You can see that I ripped it just a little bit right here. My hope is that, but other than it looks pretty good right now, I'll work on getting it flush with the countertop. As best as I can, again, without tearing. Oh yeah, much better. Much better. Here comes one of the harder parts, making this U-turn, or this 90-degree turn, the back side. Slide it out just a little bit. Enough to fill this gap in right there. Nice. I think went a little bit too far. There we go. Drop that in there. There we go. And we got a little bit of a gap right there, but I'll tell you, it's certainly looking much better than what we dealt with before. So I'm just gonna keep setting this in. I think right here, I'm just going to cut it, and I'm going to show you why. That tolerance in that back corner is pretty significant. I think you can see that with the lighting, but you see, look how tight that is. I mean, it's going to be difficult to get this through there, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just cut it right here and have this be the end, and then try to get a new strip for this whole side, and maybe trim it up with a razor, with a razor blade. You can see it doesn't look too bad. I mean, definitely ghetto, definitely a hack, if you will. but I'll tell you, beats the heck out of getting crumbs down there, and I think it's going to work just fine. Let's get this puppy in there just like that. There we go. And I'm going to push this back. Yeah, nice. Looking good so far. I'm happy. A little bit dirty, but that's okay. I'm going to dry fit this. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it to right about here. Or not cut it, stop it to right about there. This one's going to be proved to be a little bit more difficult, this side. Primarily because, as you saw, the gap is much thinner than on that side. So I think there's going to be a lot of tugging and pulling and trying to just get it to work. I didn't intend that to happen. Now you're wondering why I didn't slide this out, put it in and install it. That was tried before, and as you can imagine, the strips just crinkled up as I was sliding it in, because remember, I can't slide it anymore this way, so this had the larger gap than this side, and so this side just crumpled up as I would try to slide it in. So that was a failed attempt, and we're trying an alternative. My concern is that it's a very, very tight fit. So let's see how good I am with the knife. Let's see if I can. Not good at all. Not good at all. Another ridiculously crooked cut. Crooked. Yes. It seemed to have worked. Sticky is good, but it's proven to be a bit challenging because new game plan. New game plan. See, it just tore. It's really, you saw it, it's really thin. Not thin. Oh yeah, thin is a good term. Let's try going the other way. That's no better. It's no better. we'll keep working. So I came up with this idea that I would get some scissors, cut it in half, only for a little bit, only for a few inches until the gap widens here. At which point I'm going to try to leave the original thickness and shove it into the gap. So let's see if this idea works. I mean, it's right now anything's better than where we were at. So now I'm going to keep trimming. Just a little bit. Try to get what I can in there. Seem to be making some progress. Just enough. Enough just to get in there. Just enough to sit. What I don't want to happen is I don't want it to tear, which it looks like it is doing. Oh crud. It tore. I only had about 5 inches left. The tragedy. we're done. Let's see what the ultimate end product looks like. It is certainly not beautiful. I knew that was going to happen. I had a really bad feeling, and it did. But at any rate, I'll fix that. I got a big screw from the back of the stove right there, which is why it's raised up and bumped. And this side is awful. It looks atrocious. But again, I think it's functional. I'll deal with the ridiculousness of it and the fallout from the spouse. Maybe you should be happy because finally we won't have to worry about food falling down there, at least for a large portion of it. But anyway, I'll fix that piece. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this useful. Maybe I should have got a smaller size, but you know, when you're at the store, I didn't want to buy too small, didn't want to buy too large, so I opted for one that I thought was right in between. Seemed to be the case for about 80% of the fix, and I think it looks good. We'll just deal with it as time goes on. Thanks for watching.